that. Excellent. Okay, and then I am going to open us in prayer, and then Evelyn, you are up like right away after that. We like got you in there started. Oh, and here's Therese, so I'll let her in before pray. That's so exciting. Yay. I'll give that a minute because I know it takes a second to connect to the audio and everything. That is so awesome. Hey, Therese, we're so glad you got to hop on. Oh, you're muted, Mom. I don't know if you were, okay. Okay, well, I will go ahead and open us up with prayer, and then we will move forward. All right, dear Lord, thank you so much for letting these ladies be available at this time to come and hop on our meeting and just grow and learn together. I pray that you'd help this to be profitable and that we would have fun, that we would enjoy each other and just encourage each other tonight. I pray that you'd help us each as we're looking towards the future and deciding what we want to commit to this year and what goals we'd like to pursue, that you would just give us guidance and grace, and that you'd help us to have an excellent evening. In your name I pray, amen. Okay, I am going to turn it over to Evelyn, and she is going to share some fabulous career paths. So I know a lot of people can't have their videos on tonight. So if you look at the bottom, there's a little thing called reactions. So when she shouts yours out, you can like put in a reaction or type in the comments if you can't turn your video on or can't put your audio on, so that we know that we have recognized everyone. So go ahead, Evelyn, take it away.
Very much so. Hi, good evening. I get to do the career path recognition. So where we are and what we're planning and where we're headed in our business. So if we have any independent beauty consultants on tonight, just started or maybe been here a minute, but working on things, let's give them a wave. And if this is your very first meeting, if you have a minute and can unmute, we'd love to hear from you and about you. Anybody tonight? I know a couple, yeah.
I don't think we have anyone brand new on here, but I know we have a couple beauty consultants on tonight. So if you can, put it in say hello in the comments. If you can't unmute, we'd love to see that.
That would be perfect. Okay, Denise, I'm calling you out because I know it's you. Yay! There we go. And yay, Cherise. Awesome. Glad to have you guys here. And so the next step would be the senior beauty consultants, which are the people that have 1 or 2 active team members. And that would be me. I think that's it as far as just that level. So yay, but I know there's more in the group, but not here tonight. So yes. After that, we have our star recruiters, which are the team builders, those with their red jackets on the way, and they have 3 to 4 active team members. Anybody on tonight? I know Amanda, but is she bumped up yet?
Amanda is a senior consultant currently, but on her way right back into her red jacket, like super close. And that is so normal. But I know we haven't had a lot of conversations about that on here, which is surprising because that happened to me like all kinds of times. But that is where we are right now. But she's going to be right back in that red jacket soon.
Cool. Well, awesome. And I'll hope to join her soon. The next level we have our team leaders, which have 5 to 7 active team members. And I don't think anybody tonight. No. After that, it would be the elite team leader, which has 8 or more active team members. Again, I think we're missing them tonight. That's okay. And so next up would be DIQs. And normally I'd look at Amy, but I know that's not true anymore. So we get to, but right position, exactly. We're filling these, keep climbing the ladder, it's possible. So after that, we've got our lovely directors, and aren't we lucky to have 2 beautiful women joining us tonight in that role? So I don't know who wants to go first. You can flip a coin. Alphabetical? Okay, Amy, you're up. Can you introduce yourself and what do you like about your MK life?
Well, I'm Amy Miller, and this is my first week to be at a Monday Night Live as a director, so that's pretty fun. I have a little cold, so sorry about that, but so we are. And then what do I love? I love that we can promote ourselves by just doing extra work, and we don't have to wait for somebody else to notice and decide. It's you do the work, you get the promotion, and I just put my head down and decided this is needed to happen in June, and the Lord opened doors and it happened. So I'm just thrilled to be a director and to learn the next step to help you guys grow your businesses.
Oh, it's so exciting. And then as a side note, I wanted to let you guys know it's kind of big news. I haven't even told my mom yet, so surprise, y'all learn together. We are going to do a special director's debut for my mom, which is going to be really, really neat. We kind of looked at some dates earlier, and we kind of conversations. The 22nd is what we settled on. So that's the news for her. She knew we were going to do the debut, but I hadn't told her the date. So the 22nd, we are looking at times. It'll probably be at 6 Central, since that's kind of the time people are used to our meeting. I will not say 100% sure, but probably at 6 p.m., but kind of block out your evening. It'll be probably an hour or less, but it's really special. We get to invite other units with other directors and other consultants, because my mom knows a lot of directors. And the cool thing is, through the virtual world, she knows a lot of people that aren't even local. So you'll get to meet some new people. And we're just going to make it a really special night to recognize her, because this is a huge deal in Mary Kay. So the other really neat thing about it is that we make it a guest event, because sometimes people don't know that Mary Kay is a real career. And I know you've probably run into that before, where they don't know it can turn into a career. So we love to invite guests to just kind of show them what's possible in Mary Kay. We always share the Mary Kay opportunity. So if you have someone in your mind, on your heart, that you're like, wow, I would just love it if she was on my team, just invite her to come. It's not about recruiting. It's about debuting my mom. But when you see someone who's really done something like that, it can be really inspiring. So be thinking who you want to invite. If it's someone that may even know her, like they've maybe come to a guest event or something before for our unit, where they've maybe met her, you can especially tell them that, or say, hey, I got to be a charter member of this team. I'd love for you to meet my new team leader. Her name's Amy, and we're just wanting to celebrate her and kind of share a little bit about Mary Kay. So that is something to keep in mind. It's for customers. It's for your Mary Kay teammates. If you have teammates who aren't always able to get on the meetings, this would be a big one. If they can work it out for their schedule, this is a big one, especially if you're part of the Hope unit. You'll want to be there and kind of represent for your brand new unit. So I just wanted to kind of mention that before I forgot. And then my name is Whitney Bean. And I actually get to have a new title, which I forgot to even put down on here, but I am a senior director now, because my mom is a director, which is so fun. There is no stopping point on the Mary Kay career path. There's always something else that you can earn, some other bonus, some other really cool thing. So my favorite thing about my Mary Kay life right now is that no one else controls my success. And that's very similar to what my mom said. But, I was looking at, I'm not necessarily super into math, but I mean, you have to be a numbers girl at least a little bit in Mary Kay to make it work. We have to say, okay, I know how many people I have to ask to get a party. I know how many parties I need to have to make this much money, that kind of thing. So I was really doing some deep diving into my numbers today, and you can go one of two ways with that. You can get really stressed out, or you can see a lot of possibilities. So I just made the decision today that I was going to see all kinds of possibilities. And I thought, how cool is this, that I can just choose and say, okay, so I have some work to do and I can do that work. And you don't have to be stressed about it. This is not do or die. This is not corporate America, where if I don't fill a quota, I'm like gonna get fired. Like, none of that's gonna happen. So I love that in Mary Kay, anything we go for, we get to choose. And I just think it's really cool that there's no limit to it, and that it's up to us. So I just really love that about my business today. And now I'm looking at it. I get to turn it over to the fabulous Amy Miller, and she is going to share announcements for the Hope unit. A lot of times our announcements will overlap, but they may not always. So we're going to do 2 separate announcement times for the foreseeable future with both our units. So take it away.
Okay, so this is my first time to make unit goals. I kind of talked to Nancy and Whitney a little bit, so we'll see how I did. But as a unit, our goal is to have 8,000 in production. And we were close to that last month, so it's attainable. But obviously, like Whitney always says, we don't want you to just buy product. We want you to sell product and then have to buy product to fill your orders. So that's going to come back to something else I'm going to talk about in a second. So 8,000, and that will actually put us on a really good track to be a Malibu. I don't know what that's called, a something car unit, a Grand Achiever.
Grand Achiever, yes.
Grand Achiever unit, yes. So Whitney is a Premier Club achiever, and Nancy is a Cadillac unit. I don't know, it's probably a different phrase. So anyway, that's where we are. And the goal is by September. So we'll see what happens there. And then also for 5 new team members, which, you know, the math would say that would be 25 shares. So we can do that as a unit. We can do 25 shares and get 5 new, and then also a 20 party challenge. So as a unit to have 20 parties, because parties is where it starts. That's where you get sales. That's where you meet new people. That's where you get new team members. So that's the whole thing. So, and we're going to do a little at the end here. So hang on if you can to find out about what we're going to do to jumpstart that party challenge. But that's our goals for this month.
I could not get it to unmute, so sorry. That was great. I think those are great goals. And I'm just curious, do you guys know, I haven't trained on this in a long time. I'm not planning to train on it tonight, but I'm just curious, who on here, put it in the comments instead of saying it out loud, type in the comments what the 4 kind of pillars of a Mary Kay business are. I'll give you a hint. It starts with booking. That would be pillar 1. If you know what the 4 kind of pillars, the solid, this is what you need to do to have a successful business are, just put it in the comments. I'm curious if a lot of people are like, don't know, that is a great way for me to know, oh, I need to train on this, because this is pretty it's pretty important. And if you're going, I think I know, but I'm not sure, this is like a no judgment zone. If you get it wrong, no one cares. Who's going to judge you for it? I was going to be like, I can't believe she didn't know. So I'm just kind of curious what you guys think it is. Okay. Booking, sales, shares, rinse, repeat. I like that as step 4. I think that's excellent. You have like 90% of it, so you're on the right track. I love that. Okay, I won't give the answer away until I see more comments coming in, but you're mostly there, Evelyn, so you can use Evelyn's as like a jumping off point. But I am going to do a training tonight on setting goals. So how many of you, just like by show of hands, would consider yourself to be pretty like goal oriented? How many of you, or you can like put in the comments or whatever, I'm pretty goal oriented. Okay. Amanda says booking, parties, sharing, sales. Amanda says she's goal oriented. Sure. Good. I mean, I'm not surprised. How many of you would say I'm not so much into goals, but I like the sisterhood of Mary Kay. Maybe that's a little bit more the thing. Okay, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's both for me. But hey, Janet, I know her audio doesn't seem to want to connect. Yay, we got her in there. It's so exciting. So pretty goal oriented. Okay, a couple of you. So here's the thing. Even if you're not goal oriented, like goals aren't super important to you, here's what I know is pretty important to most of us is having something to show for our business. Because I know a lot of us are married, or even if you're not married, but you just have some things you want a little profit from your business, right? And if you're married, your spouse probably wants to see that you can make a profit with your business, which is fair. If my husband was doing something like this and attending meetings every week and doing stuff, and then he never made any money on it, I'd be like, so what are you doing? You know, like I probably wouldn't be like ugly about it, but I'm just like asking some questions. So I want to make sure that we are goal oriented in that we have things that we can show from our business, because this business works, but it doesn't work for you. You work it. So I think sometimes we get a little, I can do this too. I get a little in my own head, or I'm like, oh, it'll work out. It will, but only if we put in the work. So let's talk about setting goals. And here's like one of my favorite things in Mary Kay is that no one sets your goals for you. You pick your own goals. So it does not matter to me what your goals are. I don't care if they're huge. I don't care if they're small. I don't care if they're important. It doesn't matter if they're important to me. They're your goals. So as long as you wait on someone else to set your goals for you, you can't be super committed to them. That's when you work for a boss. You're working for their goals, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's that we trade our time for money in every aspect of life. Whatever you're working for. So if you're working for someone, you're working for their goals. But in Mary Kay, we work for our own goals. So you have to know what they are. If you don't have, if you don't have a goal set, you have nothing to work toward. So we're going to talk about setting attainable, sustainable goals, because that's like pretty important, right? We want something we can work toward and then maintain. So here are some characteristics of a good goal. Here's something. It needs to have a deadline. Like you can't just say, I want to make money in Mary Kay. We all want that. But if there is no deadline on that, it could be 10 years before you make money in Mary Kay. And that's not going to be very fun. So whatever goal it is, you need to have a deadline. It is recommended to have a 30, 60, and 90-day goal because we can work in those increments. So it's recommended to do 30, 60, or 90. Or you could have a 30, 60, and 90. Like they kind of start small and build on each other. So that is a great amount of time. It's not overwhelming. It's very sustainable because when you have a goal, it's like, okay, by the end of the year, I want to do this. I don't even know what my goals were this time last year because it was a whole year ago. A lot changes. Your life changes in a year. Let's talk about 2020. A lot changed, right? So when you set a goal, make it a smaller goal. It can build up to a year. If you have a year-long goal, that's fine, but it has to be something that can be broken down. The second thing that is very important about a goal is that it needs to be able to be broken down. A vague, wishy-washy goal is impossible to hit. You won't know if you've hit it. So if you say, I want to be successful in Mary Kay, what does that mean? Like, I wouldn't know when I hit it. That might mean I sold a product today. Well, that's success. Or it might mean I earned a car. Well, that's success, but they're very different successes, right? So saying I want to be successful that's not a goal, that's a wish. And we want to set something tangible. So it needs to be something that you can break down. The third thing that you need to have for good goals, you need to have a reason for your goal. If you don't have any sort of emotional attachment to your goal, it's really hard to stay committed to it because you're going to have times where it's harder to go for it. You're going to have harder seasons, like maybe with health, maybe family is really busy. You're going to be busy. Women are busy. I don't know if you knew that. You probably may have guessed, but women are busy. So you're going to have some seasons where it's going to be a little harder to fit your business in. So you have to have a real clear reason for your goal. So those are kind of the 3 hallmarks of a good goal. You want it to have those 3 things attached to it. Deadline, it needs to be able to be broken down, and you need to have a clear reason. Okay, so let's do some examples of a goal and we'll work it backwards. Okay, so here's an example of a good goal. I want to earn my red jacket. Here's why that's a good goal. That is very tangible. It can be broken down. You can give it a deadline and you can have a good reason for it. Okay, it's not I want to be successful. Okay, so what does that mean? This is okay, so here's what you should ask yourself if you're like, okay, that's my goal. If it's not your goal, that's okay. Insert your goal here, all right? Red jacket is just an example. Why? That's the first thing you need to know. Why do you want to have a red jacket or whatever your goal is? Put in the comments or unmute. I want this to be a little bit interactive. If you are thinking of, okay, here's why I would want to accomplish this thing. Why was that important to you? I'm just kind of curious what people would say would be their why for a goal.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi. So I think a good attainable goal for me would be to be a senior consultant. Because I think I was really reaching for a red jacket and then I just kept disappointing myself. And I didn't feel like, even though it was attainable, I just, where I was at the time, just it wasn't for me. So I think maybe starting smaller.
That is so true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is a great example, Therese, because here's something I've always thought for myself too. When I set like this huge, massive goal, I don't mean it. If I don't actually think I can do it, I don't really go for it because it's too big. So that is so good. It has to be a goal that you really believe you can do. Even being a senior consultant, that's going to stretch you, but it's like, I can do that. But being a red jacket, that's a bigger step. So I think that's a really good thing to point out because I agree. If I set a goal that's like too big for what I really think I can do, I'm not really pushing myself for it because I'm like, I don't really think I could do it anyway. So that is so good. I love that. Okay, so senior consultant feels good. All right, here's a why. For me, like, why do I want more from my business? This is kind of a big goal, but I would like to be a national sales director. And that's kind of a big goal. It's like a long-term one, but here's why. This is my big why. There's a lot of good reasons for it, but here's the one that drives me. There's a retirement plan for nationals. They have 15 years after they retire that Mary Kay pays them a yearly salary. And if the national passes away before the 15 years are up, they will continue to give that money to their families. And I like the idea of having something I can count on. That's like really important to me. So there's a lot of whys, a lot of huge, big reasons to be a national, but that's one that resonates with me. I love the idea of building something and then having it stable where I can count on that. So that's a why for me. So okay, here's one I'm seeing in the comments. Red jacket for diversifying income streams, super smart. I like team building, motivating people, helping others find success with something I myself am enjoying. Those are great reasons. They're important to you. They're personal. So when you can really personalize your reason, and it doesn't have to be a huge goal. Like this week, I want to have a really good party because I just need to get back in the habit of doing that. The clear reason is that I need to be able to teach you guys how to do parties. And if I'm not doing them well, I can't teach you what to do. So that's a clear reason to me. That's a good reason because it's very important to me that I'm leading well. So your reason doesn't have to be super deep, but it does have to be important to you or you can't stick with it. Okay, so you need to know why. Oh, that's so cool. I feel the same way, Evelyn. I like to keep moving. Yes. And I love that. These are good reasons for your goal. Okay, so you need to know your why. Here's the second thing. You need to know your math. No, none of us like to know it, but you have to know your math or you can't get there. So if you wanted to earn your red jacket, here's something you have to know. How many people are going to say yes? How many people do you have to ask to get a teammate? Do you know the math on that? Put it in the comments if you know. Okay. Oh yeah, just show me your hands. Amanda knows. It's 5. You have to ask 5 people to get one teammate. Now, it may not always be 1, 2, 3, 4 teammate. It might be you ask 8 people and then 2 people join. The big math is that 1 in 5 will say yes. But if you say, okay, how many, well, you have to know how many active teammates do I need to be in a red jacket? You have to know what goal you're, okay, so you need 3. So you know you need 3 people. And if 1 in 5 says yes, how many people minimum do you need to ask before you could say, I've asked enough people that I could be thinking towards that? You would need to ask 15. Yeah. Okay. So that's the math on it. Yes, Mom, go ahead.
And that's 15 who listened to the opportunity.
Oh, she's right.
Probably asked. You probably asked more than 15.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, that is so true. So, but you need to have 15 actual conversations for it, right? So you need to know. So if you say, I just want to be a senior consultant, or I just need 1 more teammate, that might be easier than saying I'm going for a red jacket, because maybe you have a teammate, but you need 2 more teammates to get into a red jacket. Okay, so how many people do I need to ask for my next teammate? And so you have to know your math on that. All right. So you have to know your why. You have to know your math. The third thing you have to do is set a time frame. What time frame are you going to give yourself to do this? We will fill the time with the work we have. If I know someone is coming to my house in 15 minutes and they texted me, my house will be clean in 15 minutes. If someone is coming to my house in 1 week, my house will be cleaned the day before they come. Had a full week to do it. I didn't do it until I had to. Set a deadline for yourself, because if you don't have one, you will run out of energy to do it. And don't make it long. If it's a huge goal, okay, you can break it down and like break it into smaller steps. But if it's something you're like, I need 1 more teammate, that's like a 30-day goal. It might be a 15-day goal. Okay. It's not something that has to take forever, but it has to be intentional. You have to know your numbers. You have to know how you're going to meet those people. So you're probably gonna need some parties to meet new people, because you may not already know the person that's supposed to be your teammate. And that's okay. A lot of times we say, well, I just don't know who it's supposed to be. Well, that means you need a party, because you're going to need to meet some new people. And if you're like, well, I don't know who to book a party with, well, then we need to get working on like, okay, who have you booked with? Who have you not asked? Who have you asked and they said maybe later? So it comes back to parties, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. All right, so what's the time frame? The third thing, what are my action steps? Okay, so we know why we want it. We know how many people we need to ask. We've set a deadline for ourselves. What does that actually mean? So then you would set it for yourself. How many people do I need to ask this week to say, okay, I've taken an action step towards my goal? For me, if I wanted to have 3 new teammates, that would mean every week I have to have I'm going to ask more than 5, but I need to have 5 actual shares completed in a week. Doesn't that make sense? I might not get 15 done in a week. That might be a lot, but I could do 5 in a week. That means I've probably asked about 15 people. So where did I meet those 15 people? I do not currently know 15 people that I could ask. I'm going to go book a party. I'm going to go try to book 2 or 3 parties so that I can ask some people at those parties if they will listen. And then those that say yes, from there, I can have further conversation. So that's how you break down a goal. Does that make sense? I'm trying to teach like the formula of a goal, not so much like the goal, because it can be whatever goal you want, but that's kind of the formula for it. Okay, different example. Say you want to make $400 profit every month. That's a good goal. That doesn't seem overwhelming, right? $400 profit feels like, okay, that covers some things. Maybe, so you need to know why. What do you want that $400 for? If you just say, I want $400, and you don't have a plan for it, you will make $200 and be fine with it, because you didn't really mean 400. You meant I want to make a profit. Why does it need to be that number? What is it designated for? Are you going to, every time your family eats out this month, you want to do that on Mary Kay money? Is it, okay, I want to take everyone out putt-putt golfing at the end of, whatever it is, have a reason for that number, and then think it through, like write down how much you've made in a week. Okay, so we know how much you want. I just picked 400 because it was easy math for me. All right, so if you want to make $400 profit, how much would you have to sell in order to have $400 profit? Okay, math. I like the idea of having goal for parties. I definitely need more practice. I agree, Therese. I need to have a party goal always, because I always need more practice. All right, so if we want $400 profit, how much would you need to sell? Put it in the comments. Okay, 800, we keep 50%. Good answer. 1,000, good answer. Okay, so the answer is, according to Mary Kay math, 1,000. Now, 800 is true for our profit. What Mary Kay recommends is doing a 60-40 split. And here's why. That extra money is going to cover the taxes and the shipping on your orders. So you'd actually want to sell 1,000 in order to have $400 profit. Now, the straight profit is 50%, but you are going to pay taxes and shipping on orders. And you do charge your customers taxes, so we break even on taxes, but we pay that up front. So that's why you'd want to try to sell 1,000 in order to have $400 profit. The company recommends that, and you'll have a little bit left over to invest in your business. If you do 60%, you'll have enough left over that if you say, I want to go to seminar, you'll have the money to register for that, because it's a little bit more than the cost of taxes and shipping. It gives you the money to do those extra little things in business if you want that. Yeah, if you want to order samples, if you want to do packaging, if you're like, hey, I want to get bubble mailers, it covers those extra little supplies that we don't get half price. So you'd want to sell $1,000. But that's really, that's a good thing to know though, because if you're thinking, okay, I need to sell 800, then you're going to realize, oh, I only got like $300 profit this month. And that's not, why is that? That's why. So you'd want to sell 1,000. Okay, so then to sell 1,000, how do you sell $1,000 in a month? That's a big number, right? Suddenly good and $400 profit is like, oh, that's going to be some work. Well, I don't think you'll be shocked to hear that that's going to come back to parties, right? It always comes back to parties. So then you kind of need to know, like, okay, so how much do I make on average at a party? Now, here's the thing. Company averages don't match my averages. I make less at a party typically than the company averages, and that's okay. I've had my pity parties about it, but the answer is that's what it is. So if I'm not making that, then I need to know, okay, how many parties do I need to have in order to make $1,000 profit? So if my average party, I make $200, then I would need to hold 5 parties. Now, here's the beautiful thing. I also have a reorder business. So maybe I don't have to have 5 parties. Maybe I only need 4 parties. And over the course of the month, I'm going to have $200 in reorders. So count that in, make sure you're thinking of that, because we have more avenues to make money than just parties. We have our current customers. Sometimes you'll have someone who they aren't really at a party, they're not reordering, they're just your friend, and they finally decided they want to order Mary Kay. We do get surprise orders in a month, most months, if you're being in front of people and working your business. But count on parties as being the biggest income maker you have, and then reorders are your second biggest. So that's an important thing to know. Third stream of income, if you want to profit, what's a third stream of income that we have as an option besides parties and reorders? I think Evelyn mentioned this earlier. It's a good reason to team build. It is our commissions. So if you are building a team, you're getting income from the company. The company pays you a commission when your teammate orders. It doesn't come from your teammate. Your teammate gets to keep all of her profit. She earned that. But the company is going to send you a commission. So if you have 3 streams of income every month and your goal is to have $400 profit, that gets easier the more streams you have. Doesn't that make sense? But it always starts with parties, because at parties is where you're going to meet your next teammate. It's where you're going to get your sales. And then where you get your sales is where you get your customers. And from customers comes reorders. So it always comes back to parties. Like it's pretty, that's kind of how Mary Kay is built. Can you work a successful business without parties? Yes, but you will find it's much easier with parties. I have had seasons where I haven't done many parties, and I found myself really frustrated with my business. I have. So I will say personal experiences, parties are where it's at. Now you need to know, like, look through your math every month. We keep a budget on our phone. So that's kind of where I can go back and reference, like, okay, here's how much I made last month. And then I know the names in there, like who was a reorder, who was from a party. So that's how I can kind of get my numbers. It does not matter how you keep track of it, but for like 2 or 3 months, you'll want to track, like, how much am I making on average? Because you're going to have a $0 party. Don't get discouraged, because if you have 3 parties, not all of them are going to be $0. So you're going to have a $0 party in there, but you might also have a $400 party in there. So you'll want to know your average. So I'd recommend tracking for at least a month, better yet 2 months, to kind of see, okay, what is my party average? What is my reorder average? Because it's going to be averages. You're going to have lower and higher. So 2 to 3 months is a good amount of time to track that. But then once you know your numbers and you know what you make on average, it gets a lot easier and a lot less stressful, because you know what you can count on, because numbers don't lie. Our emotions do. My emotions do. So that's a really good thing to know. And then you need to know, the last thing you would need to know is, like, how many booking attempts does it take me to get a party? There are averages that the company might give you, but they may not line up with yours. So how many people do you usually have to ask to actually get a party on the books? For me, it's usually about 5 people. So if I know that and I've asked 10 people and nobody booked a party, that means I'm due. So it's really easy to get discouraged if you have 10 people and nobody says yes, but that means I'm due for a party. So that's where you kind of come back to, and having those averages is really, like, comforting, because not everybody says yes. And sometimes that can get, like, really discouraging, right? So know your numbers. And even if you don't know your numbers yet, rest on the fact that if you will work your business, you will get averages that will work in your favor. Now, if you work 2 days out of the month, every month, you're probably not going to have very good averages, because you're not being consistent. And I totally get that, because we all have seasons where it's really hard to be consistent. So that is not a statement out of judgment or anything like that. It's just, that's the truth. If we're consistent, it pays us back much, much better than when we kind of work in spurts. And there are some months where you can do more than others. I've had months where I haven't done any parties and I've, like, survived off of my reorder business. That happens. But the easiest way to work your business is through the parties. But you have to be intentional to take the time to book parties. I can think of, like, 2 times in my Mary Kay career that people have asked me if they can do a party. Like, that's not really how it works. We have to ask them. A lot of people are willing, they just don't know. They don't know. Now, here's the thing with the party. A party without a date and a time is just a wish. So when someone is trying to book, when you're trying to book someone for a party, have a plan. Know the days that you're gonna want to do a party, because they'll say, oh yeah, sure. So then you tell them, okay, here are the dates I have available. Here are the times, which one's good for you? And don't give them a ton of options. Like, 2 options is fine. If neither of them work, they'll give them 2 different options. But that's what the dentist's office does. You call to make an appointment, or they call you and they say, okay, you can come this time or this time. Which one is it? And you pick. All right. So treat it like a business, because it is, and it will work that way. So that's kind of how I wanted to train on setting a goal. So here's the thing. None of this training matters if you don't follow through with it. We can listen all day about how to make a goal, but if we're not actually setting a goal, it really didn't help you guys. And I have listened to many a training that I have taken no action steps on. I couldn't tell you what that training was about. So here's what I would recommend is, for like 2 or 3 minutes right after this, I know we all have stuff right after, but for 2 or 3 minutes right after this, I want you to just write down in your handwriting, if you can, better than on a phone, write it down in your own handwriting. What is a goal that I am emotionally attached to, very committed to? And then when you have time, we can go back through and get the action steps in place for how to get there. But just write down the goal. Like Therese said, don't make it a goal that you don't really believe in. Okay, it has to be a goal that you're like, yeah, this is one that I want to go for. This is one I can do. It could be that you only want to make $100 profit in a month, because that's where you feel like, okay, I can commit to that because I know I can do that. It does not matter the size of the goal. What matters is that you are committed to it and you know how it's going to improve your family's circumstances, because that's a big motivator, right? We want it to be something that we can actually tangibly look at and say, okay, I helped buy the groceries this month, or I was able to get all the back to school materials for my kids this year through Mary Kay money. That's a huge budget buster right there. There's stuff that we know is coming up. So have a plan for it. So that is how you set a goal. So I'm going to switch gears real quick and announce some Fearless Unit July goals. So my mom and I have been talking about goals and stuff and how to set them and what's a good goal for units and things. And honestly, the goals she set are exactly where my unit needs to be as well. So we are going to have parallel goals. So it's not exactly a competition, but like also we have parallel goals. So I mean, we're all working on the same thing. So our unit goal this month is to have 8,000 in production, and also to have 5 new. Comes back to parties. That's where we're meeting our new people. That's where we're getting our sales, because we want you to have sales to order. It's silly to just order to order. Unless you need those products personally, it's not the best way to run a business. So I'm just going to recommend that we are working towards those sales. Okay, the next thing I wanted to mention is preferred customer program. The deadline for registering for that is the 17th. I missed it once. All right. Full transparency. I missed registering for my customers for that once because I wasn't really paying attention. So don't be like that. It's really great. It costs you a lot less to order the books this way than it does to order them yourself and then mail them out. It's kind of hard to mail them out from your house. It's like complicated. So use the company to do it. I believe it's like 70 cents a book. They include samples when they can. There have been some times where there have been like a shortage on samples because of COVID and packaging. But even if there's not a sample in there, they're going to see all the new products coming out for the fall, and it's going to be shipped straight to them. It has your information on the back. So I limit my preferred customer program. I don't send it to everyone who's ever ordered anything from me. I send it to my best customers. I send it to new customers because maybe I don't know. So be thoughtful with your list. I always update my list. I never just re-register all the same people. I always check my list. Don't be afraid to spend a little money on this because it'll pay you back. And then you'll get a notification. You'll also get one in the mail for free for registering your customers. And that's how you'll know what they're seeing, and you'll kind of know when it's arriving because you got yours. By the way, I got a shipment of some of the new fall products. They're great. Just gonna say it. I can announce on August 1st. So just be building up your customer bases. There's some really cool things. Where can you register for PCP? On In Touch, if you go to, I want to say it's under business tools. My business, I think it's in their preferred customer program. I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
I think it might be under ordering.
Okay, it's somewhere on Mary Kay In Touch. I'm so sorry. I'll try to look it up a little bit later, but on Mary Kay In Touch is where you register them. And you can put it, I think a really smart thing to do, and I've seen several of you doing this, is put it on your customer page on Facebook and just say, hey, if you're not already part of this, let me know if you'd like to be. You'll get new people that way. And then they get something special in the mail from you. And who doesn't like getting happy mail? So like, that's just a really nice thing we can do for our customers. So I try to do a shout out on there. I always get new people. And some people are like, hey, I don't know if I'm still on your list, but make sure I am. So knowing who wants to stay on the list is also like kind of nice to know, like, hey, they like getting this, and they're not just like, oh gosh, I got another one of those. And the last thing I wanted to announce is seminar registration is still open. It closed, I think, last week for those that were going to have recognition at seminar for things that they have done this past seminar year. But I know a lot of you joined kind of middle of the year, so you didn't necessarily have like court anything for seminar. So you can still register for seminar, and I would highly encourage you to. Seminar registration is still open, and the seminar dates are August 19th through 21st. It will be virtual. It will be recorded. I believe I heard that some of these sessions are only available live, not all of them, but you'll want to hop on Mary Kay in Touch for details of times for sessions and things, because I do not know them all off the top of my head. But make sure you register. They'll give you like a rebate on your next order after you register. So it's basically free to go to seminar. And I'd highly encourage you to do it. They're really planning some very cool things for us. So, okay, I'm going to turn it over to Amanda, who is going to, and she just, Evelyn shared under here that PCP is under business tools as its very own tab. Let's see. Do you have to specifically request the Spanish version for certain customers? That is a great question, Charisse. I believe there is an option to select that, but I have not looked at it. So I will check after our meeting and let you know, because that's an excellent question. So I'm glad you asked. Thank you for passing that on, Amanda. I think I missed that question. So, all right, Amanda is going to do some recognition for accomplishments for the past week, but also I know that I was on vacation and we did not have a meeting last week. So if you had just like a killer week the first week of July and it's not going to get recognized, I want you to like wave your hands wildly and be like, I sold 700. You know, if you had something that you're like, I need people to know about this, feel free to recognize yourself in this, because I know we didn't have one last week. So go ahead, Amanda.
All right. And yeah, Sharice's message came to me directly. I've done that before where I thought I was sending to everyone, and I was like, wait a second, I think she meant that, because I don't know that answer. But okay, so let's get started. And I want to say that training was really good, Whitney. I needed to hear that. I did. Okay. So if you opened your store for business last week and you had any sale, no, you're good, Sharice. I've done that too. If you've opened your business at all last week and you had any sales, can you wave at us? Yay. Good job, Amy. And I know you can drop in the comments because some of us aren't on screen. Let me see here. So good. Okay. So the next one, did we have any grand day achievers? Janet, good job. That's awesome. Okay, I don't want to miss anybody. So yay, that is so exciting. Okay, and then did we have any grand day achievers last week? Any of that? Okay, Amy, good job. Janet, I'm not sure if her hand is still up or not, but hey, awesome. Okay, so let's see about high sales. So it's 300 to be the queen, but any sale obviously is super exciting. So Amy, can you unmute and tell us how much you sold last week?
284.
Wow, awesome. Yay, that is super exciting. And how did you do it? I would love to know.
So one of them was a reorder, and she ordered 2 time-wise sets and a charcoal mask. And so when I delivered them, it was a local lady. And honestly, this is somebody I text all the time and never hear back from. And then it just showed up on my website, and I was like, oh, she ordered. And so I asked her, and she said, well, she likes to order once a year for the year. So there you go.
That is so, that's the first time she did that like that, where she did both?
Yeah, it was great. I think she's been ordering about every 6 months or so, but anyway. And then the other was one of my 4th of July 4 for 40 deals. Somebody really liked that bargain.
Nice.
And so that was the other one.
Good job. That is awesome. Yay. Okay, what about June sparklers? Let's see here. Any sparklers last month? Can you wave at us? Yay. Oh, let me see here. Let me move over. Okay, I see Amy. I know Amy did, and Whitney, of course. So good job, guys. Yay, yay, yay. And then sharing. So it's 3 to be a queen, but did anyone share the opportunity to anyone last week? Do we have anyone? No. That
she's not on the meeting tonight. I think she's on vacation, but Sarah McLean from our unit did several. I got several surveys in from her last week. So I want to shout that out, because I think I got about 6 surveys.
Wow.
So she's earning her pearls. So you guys can do it. So I was really excited about that.
That is
And I wanted to mention to the ladies that I did make a new Google form. So I kind of sent that out. So I'll get those forms when somebody shares from our unit.
Okay, well, I think that is everything. Thank you. Good job, everyone, really.
Awesome. I love, right? Oh, good. Evelyn, I am so glad that you finally received your pearls. I was like, maybe I didn't order them. Just so y'all know the backstory on that, the pearls were back ordered like forever. So that tells me that I can start ordering pearls again for people. Oh, thank goodness, because there are other people waiting on those. So yay. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to my mom, and she's going to close out our meeting with sharing about something special that we are planning to do for our units, like a special challenge. And oh, and good, Rebecca got her pearls too. Oh, thank goodness. And they are so pretty. If you have not seen the pearls we're sharing, they have updated them since I earned my pearls, and I'm like, I want these. They have like bees and they're like rose gold. Anyway, look them up on Mary Kay and Touch. They're gorgeous. And if you don't know how to earn them, definitely message me or my mom, and we will fill you in because they're beautiful. Okay, so turning it over to Mom, she's going to close us out.
Okay, so the theme tonight was for all of our goals, it keeps coming back to parties. So we are going to have a little challenge between now and tomorrow night, because maybe you're already busy the rest of tonight, or maybe you're working tomorrow. So we'll give a good chunk of time, but it's a booking challenge. So every time you make 5 attempts, so that's sending out texts or resending a text, that counts. Let me know, let Whitney know, text us, put it in the comments on our page. And we want to build a lot of excitement here. Every time you book a party, that's worth 5 entries. So Whitney and I both have prizes that we're going to do. We'll kind of keep that a surprise till we get there, but we will send you a prize for doing it. But the big prize is you're getting parties in the books. The other week, I've been working so hard at becoming a director, and I was like, I just don't have any parties. Well, I do keep track. I make a little thing where I circle B for booking, S for shares, that I attempted each day. Well, guess what? I hadn't tried booking for like 2 weeks. So you don't have any parties when you don't try to book. Duh. So this is just that challenge. I'm gonna post, I don't know, probably on the page, the Hope Unit and Fearless Unit, a text you can use for booking. And I'll probably text that to you individually. I don't know what Whitney's gonna do, something similar like that, maybe on Project Broadcast, the group one. But anyway, that'll come out. And a couple of things we talked about booking. Sometimes it's like, oh, I'm working on a party, I'm working on a booking. Just pin them down like the dentist, like Whitney said. So pretty much if they say, yeah, I'm interested, say great. In order for this to count for my contest, I have to get a date on the calendar. If we have to change it later, that's okay. They usually won't. Just get it on there, because it's no work for them. They don't realize that. They think they're going to have to go do a bunch of stuff, but it's hardly any work. So say, okay, would you like a weeknight or a weekend? I always start there. They say probably a weekend. I say, great. Do you want Saturday at 10 or 7? And I usually do the next Saturday, because you know what? There's no prep. There's no getting your house clean or making snacks or whatever. And honest answer, they're not going to invite anybody till about 24 hours before. Sometimes maybe 2 days before. I don't even send the party link. You might be saying, I don't know how to send a party link. I don't know how to post a party. Whitney and I have your backs. We will teach you how. We'll do it with you, make it happen. It could be a live party. Just get it on the books. Maybe they want to come by for coffee on Saturday morning with 2 friends. 3, well, that's a different thing. But anyway, yes. And I changed also, ladies, on our party challenge. I had the wrong thing down, but for our unit party challenge, the number of people that need to be there is a little different. It's 4 people for a virtual party and 3 people for a live party. Counts as a party. So if 6 people come to a live party, that's 2 parties. If 8 people comment on your 8, I can't do 8. 8 people comment on your Facebook party, that's 2 parties. So that will help that. I kind of intertwine 2 things there. I hope I didn't confuse you, but basically for the next more than 24 hours, we'll go to tomorrow night. You know, if you text me at midnight, I won't hear it, but I'll get it the next day. It's okay. Sometimes people don't get back to me until like 11:30 at night. And I'm like, don't you people go to bed? But anyway, I turn my thing off. So it's okay. I see it in the morning, but it's like nobody can really start talking to me till I'm about ready to go to bed most days. I don't know if it's that way for you, but it happens a lot. Yeah. So anyway, just do as many as you can. And you know what? Activity brings excitement, and excitement is what's going to really make your business blow and go. So let's do this thing. I'll be encouraging each other. I'll keep posting on there how everybody's doing on our page. Whitney will probably do the same, and we will see what we can get. Anything else, Whitney, I missed?
I don't think so. That was really good. I'm excited about this. And it's just so flexible because if you were busy this week, that is okay because you can book a party for next week. And it doesn't take like any time to send out a message. And I just want to explain the reason for the 3 and 4 because I think that can help you keep it straight. The reason that 3 people in person counts as a party is because when they're in person, there's a higher chance for a sale because they're looking you in the eye, they're feeling the product, that it's just typically is a little bit easier to get a sale that way. And then on Facebook, it's a little bit easier for people to just comment and then kind of leave and maybe not pursue a sale, which is fine. But that's why we want 4 people at minimum for a Facebook party because we want these parties to be successful. We don't want you to be just booking things for the sake of booking things. We want these to be things that move your business forward, that help you, that help grow your team, that help grow your sales, that help grow your customer base. So we're trying to give you the best chance of success. So that's why there's a number difference there, because I wanted that to be clear, because I know it can be like, wait, why does it matter differently? Because we want this to work for you. And I will say lately, my most successful parties have been my 5 days of faves parties, where I go live every day. And some people that doesn't work for them, like for the consultants, they're like, I just can't make that happen. That is okay. Work with what you can do. And if you haven't tried a 5 days of faves party yet, I would recommend it. People get to know you. I am finding that I'm getting better sales because people know me. I am finding that they're accepting my friend requests more easily because they know me. I'm finding that they're joining my customer group more easily because they met me, and there's a lot more loyalty built up that way than just a posting party. There's nothing wrong with posting party. I've run a very successful business for the past year with just posting parties, but I will say if you are willing, that the live parties seem to be really working for my business right now, and I just want to share that. And you know what? I think that's the last thing that's on my agenda for tonight. So I guess we better close this thing down. Does anybody have anything? We have a few minutes. Does anybody have anything that they would like to ask? Okay, I've seen a question. Is there a place to look at that type of party? Yes. I will invite you to it, Charisse. I have a 5 days of faves practice party. And I will be honest, I think I've only put up 3 of the 5 days. I don't know. My life just keeps getting away from me, but it's a good example. Maybe someday I'll put up days 4 and 5. But basically what a 5 days of faves party is I go live every day for about 5 minutes and I just talk about a few products that I like. And it's pretty easy because I'm not overwhelmed, and it just gets people to know your personality and things like that pretty well. So yes, I'll make sure I send you an invitation to that. Therese, great question. Yes, Mom.
And there's a commenting prize for each day.
Yes.
And so that gets people commenting and asking questions, which the hostess who, hosts that party, then she gets prizes for her guests commenting, which brings a lot more interaction. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that's the thing. The more interaction you have at a party, the better. And if you're like, hey, I just don't think that's for me, I just want to do a posting party, we have a practice posting party as well. And it is definitely one that you can tweak and change up and use different things, but it's a great starting point. And if you say, you know what, I just kind of want to do my own thing and I just want to do, a lot of people do a Christmas in July event. You could do a Christmas in July event. You can host your own party and have your customers come to it. There's a lot of different ways to do this, but think of how you want to do this and go for it. My customers all wanted to do the Christmas in July party. So I was like, okay. Because I kind of asked about it. I didn't think I'd get a lot of reaction. They were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I don't have a plan. So I'm just going to post every day for the 12 days of Christmas in July, and just do a different post every day. They're not all like Mary Kay things. Like one day is comment your favorite Christmas song, because not everybody wants every day to be about Mary Kay. It's a lot more fun when there's a lot of stuff. So I'll put all those posts in the Fearless Unit too, if you guys want to use them. But just be creative and do something that you're excited about, whatever it is. If you want to do something in person, go for it. That can be really fun. If that overwhelms you, then don't do that. Do whatever you want to do and it'll be great. So anybody else have anything they want to add? Any questions?
I just wanted to add, for like Whitney said about the Christmas in July, almost so many of my parties, I don't feel ready for. I just kind of have to go. And I don't remember the exact quote, but Mary Kay had something about, not spending so much time planning, but more time doing. and you'll learn as you do. And our customers not gonna be like, oh, she messed that up, I'm never gonna see her again. They actually, I think, kind of relate to you more when you mess up. But sometimes I'm like, I told Brady the other day, I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but here I go. And I just did it because sometimes that's what you need to do. You can plan yourself to death, but that's not going to put any money in your pocket.
It's so true. It's so true. And if you need half a plan, you can get on any of these practice parties. And my mom and I are there for you. We'll coach you through it. And it is just okay to be real. They know you're a real person. They like you because you're a real person. I have dropped products on the floor. I have had all of my party posts go up in a mismatch order because the scheduling got off. I have put up party posts an hour too early, an hour too late. I've had, if it could go wrong, I had my internet just give out in the middle of a party once. So, I mean, stuff happens and it's okay. That's real life. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Just go, do, be. So I'm really glad we had this meeting tonight. I needed it. I loved vacation, but I don't know. There is something about, I miss my Mary Kay gals when I don't have a week with it. So I wouldn't trade vacation for anything, but I missed this. So I'm really glad that you ladies are here tonight, and I will post the link for the recording for this a little bit later if you want to go back and watch the training, or if you need any of the tips for booking. And you can, if you had a teammate that wasn't on tonight that you're like, wow, I think they'd really benefit from this, feel free to share the link with them. Like, that's a standard always. You can share this link with anybody that's in Mary Kay that you think needs it. So, okay, I will talk to you guys later. Have a good
Bye,
night.
everybody.